Hi, boys and girls. I'm back with another story. This one's pretty short. It's called The Dot, but it has a wonderful meaning. Have you ever been scared to draw something because you're afraid it won't look exactly right? Well, that's kind of what this story's about. You know, I'm an artist. That's what I like to do when I'm not teaching. And I've learned not to worry about everything being just perfect. Because sometimes it's those little mistakes that make my artwork the most interesting. So I hope you learn a little bit from this story about not worrying about being perfect with your art, and then you can enjoy creating a little bit more. The Dot by Peter H. Reynolds. Art class was over, but Vashti sat glued to her chair. Her paper was empty. Vashti's teacher leaned over her blank paper. "Ah, a polar bear in a snowstorm," she said. "Very funny," said Vashti. "I just can't draw." Her teacher smiled. "Then just make a mark and see where it takes you." Vashti grabbed a marker and gave the paper a good, strong jab. "There," she said. Her teacher picked up the paper and studied it carefully. She pushed the paper toward Vashti and quietly said, "Now, sign it." The next week, missed a page, sorry. Vashti thought for a moment. "Well, maybe I can't draw, but I can sign my name." The next week, when Vashti walked into art class, she was surprised to see what was hanging above her teacher's desk. It was the little dot she had drawn, her dot, all framed in a swirly gold frame. "I can make a better dot than that," she said. So she opened her never-before-used set of watercolors and set to work. Vashti painted and painted. She painted a yellow dot, a green dot, a red dot, a blue dot. Then she mixed the blue with the yellow, and she discovered she could make a green dot. Vashti kept experimenting, lots of little dots in many, many colors. If I can make little dots, I can make big dots too. Vashti splashed her colors with a bigger brush on bigger paper to make bigger dots. Vashti even made a dot by not painting a dot at all. At the school art show a few weeks later, Vashti's many dots made quite a splash. Vashti noticed a little boy gazing up at her. "Wow, you're a really great artist," he said. "I wish I could draw like that," he said. "I bet you can," said Vashti. "Me? Not me. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler." Vashti smiled. She handed the boy a blank sheet of paper. "Show me," she said. The boy's pencil shook as he drew his line. Vashti stared at the boy's squiggle, and then she said, "Please, sign it." And that was the beginning of that little boy becoming an artist as well. Sometimes you just have to start with a dot or a line and go from there. Tomorrow is Father's Day, and a really nice thing to give your dad might be a picture that you draw. And maybe you want to draw pictures of dots like Vashti did. Or maybe you'd like to draw a fish, which is what I'm going to teach you how to draw today. Some dads really like to fish, some dads really like to eat fish, some dads don't. But it's kind of a fun thing to draw, and it might be a fun thing to give your dad for Father's Day. So I'm going to turn my camera here so that you can see my paper and my easel. Grab your pen and paper. I'm using my Sharpie pen again. And we're going to start the fish with his mouth, which is just a V sitting on its side. Kind of like a greater than mark or a V, or kind of looks like a bird's beak, but it's a V sitting on its side. And then I want you to make a curved line that comes up over the top, and a curved line that starts on the other end of the V and goes down under the bottom, and they can meet right there. So now we have the fish's body. That's pretty simple, huh? We're going to give our fish a really pretty tail. Let's start with going up and kind of slanting out, and going down and kind of slanting out. And then we're going to give our fish tail kind of a scalloped edge, and you do that by making a series of curved lines. 1, 2, 3, it might be more for you, and just have a meet at the bottom. And then if you start at your scalloped line, go out again at the top and the bottom, then you can make another scalloped line that starts at the top, and meets the line you made at the bottom. That's kind of a pretty fancy tail for our fish. We'll give him an eye by using a dot. That's just a circle that's colored in. And fish have pretty big eyes, so I'm going to make a circle around that dot, and I might even make another circle around that dot because fish have pretty big eyes. I'm going to give my fish a fin. That will help him swim. His tail helps him swim, and his fins help him swim. And we're going to make it a heart shape because this is for Dad, okay? So we're going to make a heart shape on its side. So if you start with a little dot and come up and around, kind of like that, and then go under and around, and if you have it meet right there in the middle, it sort of looks like a heart sitting on its side. We can make our fish fancy by adding some designs. Maybe I'll make some stripes on my fish. So I'm going to go from the top of the fish to the bottom. Whenever I run into something that I've already drawn, I have to stop and jump over it and finish my line. So I can make some curved lines for my stripes. I could make some zigzag lines for my stripes, just starting at the top and stopping when I get to the bottom of the fish. Oh, got to jump over his eye. And maybe this one will just be kind of a curvy line. So now I have him all divided up so that I can paint this fish pretty colors. I could even divide his tail if I wanted to, going from each one of those scallops in and doing that on the second layer of the tail if you want to. I'm going to put my fish on some water. We'll pretend he's jumping out just a little bit. But to make the water, I want it to look wavy. So I'm going to swoop up. I'm going to start clear on the edge of my paper. And down and up. Down and up. Down and up. Oh, I ran into my fish, so I have to stop. Then I'm going to pretend I'm continuing my line. Down and up. Down and up. Have to stop and jump over again. Down and up. Clear off the edge of my paper. So now I have water and I have sky. You could put a sun in your sky if you wanted to. Might be fun to put a fish hook. Just comes down kind of like a backwards letter J. So it looks like your dad is fishing for that really beautiful fish. And inside this heart, if you want to, you can write, I love you. And then, of course, you'll want to be sure to sign your name. Always, always sign your name. You noticed Vashti signed her name at the bottom of every one of her dots in our story today. Here's one that I finished. I colored it in. I made it bright and beautiful. My dad likes bright, beautiful things. My dad is 90 years old, by the way, but he's still my daddy, and I love him so much. I colored in my fish here in rainbow colors, kind of in the order of the rainbow. Colored in my water, and I colored in my sky and my hook, and of course I signed my name. So, if you draw a picture for your dad, awesome, he'll love it. If you don't, be sure to wish him a happy Father's Day and tell him how much you appreciate him being your daddy. Daddies are pretty special people, so happy Father's Day to your dad. Until next time, bye-bye.